Hi everybody. Hi everybody. Cooking with Mario and Claire here. So I made a video a couple of nights ago, cooked some stuff on the grill. Probably not the best audio, and so Claire and I thought it would be great.
We. Because sometimes we speak French.
We. The royal we. Is to do a little riff tracks on top of it, and you get to behind the scenes director commentary, if you will. So I'm going to start the video. We're going to watch along, and see, it's awesome graphics. You like the graphics?
I do actually.
High
He's done a high-end job on it.
So I did pork meatballs with bison.
Okay, so he's looking very important and busy in the video. Don't let that fool you. This is a very easy process.
It really is. It's just pork and bison meatballs, but at the same time, so...
Ignore crazy dog.
Yeah.
He's fine.
Claire took Marco to our younger son to a soccer game, and because it was a late game and I tried to go to bed early, I wanted to get a lot of cooking done while they were out of the house. So I look a little frantic. It's not really frantic, it's just because I want to get to sleep. But there we've got a whole bunch of spices. What I used, chili powder, turmeric, garlic powder, garlic salt. But we'll put all of that in the bottom.
So the thing about this is that he used the two meats, and that's very common. You can also do the traditional where you add bread and milk and parsley. Surprisingly, this is my first time having bison. The bison is very, while it's lean, it's very moist. So it's not very dry. So like when you're dealing with like a chicken, even though chicken is moist, it dries out really quick. The bison does not dry out really well. So
it held up really well.
Yeah, so here he is. I don't know what he's doing now because all I can see is him, but he is talking away about something.
Super attractive.
Yeah, he is. So when you mix the meat, again, you want to make sure you don't over-mix it. That makes it tough. Okay, so basically you have the meat, you can add whatever spices that you want to it. If you want to extend it, again, a little egg, a little milk. I mean, that's how people stretch things in the days, right? They added that old bread. So if you add the bread to a little bit of milk, it'll moisten it. You know, like if it's an old kind of crusty bread, it'll moisten it, and then you can put it into the meatballs. And they're super easy to do. You'll see later in the video, he knows what he was doing. You'll see in the video later that Mario cooked them on the Treager, but then moved them to the oven. He only did that because he wanted to get his stir fry done. You don't need to do that. It's super easy. You can just leave them on there, do a little turn. They'll cook super easy in the on the Treager. So when you're going for easy, just pick one. Do the oven, do the other one, you pop them in.
I was also doing wings at the same time, so I was trying to get a lot done that evening.
Right, so he's prepping the wings. Again, whatever spice mix you like. And then again, you pop them on the Treager. They literally cook themselves. So here he is, and he's putting the meat together. You can't see it as well, but again, whatever spices you like.
Yeah, I use
a mixed Italian seasoning if you like that. If you like it spicy, you could even divide it up. So mix the bison and what'd you use? Ground beef?
Ground pork.
Oh, ground pork. Yes. That's a great combination. So when you mix the two together, you could easily divide the two. Because again, I don't like things super spicy, and the boys do.
Yeah.
So I would probably have divided it. I would have added all the spicy to one side, and then mine, I would have done something else. And then just remember when you put them in the oven or the Treager, which ones are yours.
Yeah, that's always the challenge, because when they all get kind of get a nice crust on them on that griddle, then it's a little bit harder to tell. So making sure you put them on the right sides. What I was doing earlier, because I was trying to get wings done so that I could make small packs for Marco to eat throughout the week. I'll take them for lunch, and then just rolling up meatballs. You can see they're about palm size. Keeping them on. Really, I just keep them all in that same bowl. And
if you don't want to play around with that, you could always use like an ice cream scooper if you've seen those. Yeah. So you could just grab it, make it into a ball size, and keep going.
I like making the meatballs, or actually it's the same size I would make when we would do sliders, because about that size, and then you can smash them down to make them patties or keep them as meatballs. Meatballs, you just kind of have to time it out a little bit more because you want to make sure it cooks all the way through without becoming completely dry.
Right.
But you notice I didn't add eggs or breadcrumbs or anything
Why is
else. I just didn't want to add in all of that extra weight, right? The heaviness. And then because I'm also trying not to have as many carbs, so I just wanted to focus on eating the protein.
Yeah, just so you know, they don't come out extra heavy. When you do the bread and the milk and stuff like that, it's a good stretcher, but he's right. If you don't want the carbs in there and you just want the protein, you can still go that way, especially when you're dealing with pork. So pork's got a good amount of fat in it. The bison is still really moist. They're a great combination. If you use one or the other by themselves, you're just gonna get that flavor and that amount of fat.
Yeah.
So mixing them together is really good.
So you can see I put I'm putting the wings out on one smoker because it's gonna go for about 2 hours. And I wanted to get those out there while I worked on everything else. So I had prepped all of the food.
And there he is, he's just dumping them on now. He's had it.
Yeah.
He put them out nicely and now he's just dumping them in there.
The fear of always holding it with one hand though, if I dropped it, then it's a wasted chicken.
Now is that on the griddles? Or
no, this is just on that's the Bronson Traeger, but it doesn't have the grill grates. It's the regular grate.
And he's smoking those, so that's why it takes so much longer.
Right.
It's because he's smoking them.
Yeah, and that's why I wanted to get those out first, get them to smoke, because like I said, that's 2 hours. And while that's going, because you saw I had prepped them before and then did the meatballs. This is real time. I walk back in, grab the meatballs, and then I'm going to throw them on. Now you can see in here I had just gotten some new grill grates. Those are those ones you may have seen me in other videos. It's really nice on the pellet grill because it adds almost another 100 to 150 degrees inside, which is really nice. So as soon as I'm putting those on, it's a sear, it's a sizzle.
And why did you choose the flat side?
Because I didn't want them to fall into the grates and get all kind of distended.
You think they would?
I think they would have because they're still very soft. They weren't.
So the grill grates are flat on one side and then they have ridges on the other side.
Right.
But in this way it is nice. There's a bunch of holes and so the fat will fall through.
Yeah.
So that's really, really nice. Like if you were going to cook them in the oven and you didn't want the grease, then you would want to put them on a rack and then put the rack on a tray so that it catches that grease underneath.
And for those of you with a pellet grill or a Traeger, you know that it has that drain pan underneath. Now you see it only took, I think I did 5 minutes and you see they're already crisping up on one side, so I wanted to turn them over. The other reason I used the flat side is because I wanted to really get some of that fat all around, because when I take these off, I'm going to throw on a bunch of vegetables and stir fry it right out here on the Traeger. So it's really nice because I basically did all of the cooking out here. You'll see when I take these off, we're going to do about 5 more minutes. And then put the meatballs in the oven just so that I can free up the space to then do the
yeah, but otherwise he could have just continued to use the Traeger and not have used the oven. Yeah, so he could have finished it, but then it's nice because just like an oven, your Traeger's ready to go. Now you can bring your vegetables out and do those super quick.
The one thing to keep in mind though is there is no edge, so you really got to pay attention. I almost lost one meatball.
Oh yeah, off the backside.
But actually off the front.
Oh yeah.
It would have rolled right off the front.
Oh yeah.
Then our dog would have had a nice little snack there.
Not so bad. Yeah, so no, they're super yummy, really, really good on the Traeger this way. And the great thing is that everyone then at home, again, if you did different spices, everyone gets their spice. But you can eat them by themselves because they're that good. You could make any type of sauce that you wanted to, whether it was like an Asian sauce, something maybe with a soy, sweet and sour type thing. A marinara sauce. I did some sauces that we're going to post. I had posted them on Facebook. So you could do a marinara sauce with it. I mean, just so many possibilities, which is nice when you have, different people in the house who like different things.
Yeah.
Right? Oh, a meatball sandwich.
Yeah, you slice them up, put them in a meatball sandwich.
We did a quesadilla.
Yeah, we did quesadillas.
So Mario sliced the meatballs, and he made me a quesadilla with it. So many possibilities. So when you take a meat like that, You know, just
Yeah.
realize that there's so many potentials. Okay, so here he is with the stir fry. You want to tell him what you put in
So
there?
I used red bell peppers, yellow and orange bell peppers. I sliced up an onion, and I had a couple of Fresno peppers left over that I cleaned out and sliced up. So
You left the seeds on?
No, I took the seeds out.
Ah.
Because I wasn't trying to go for a lot of heat. There was going to be enough spice in the meatballs.
Yeah.
And so some of the bits were still on the griddle side.
From the meatballs?
From the meatballs themselves.
Yeah.
And this is just olive oil and salt and pepper and whatever came off the meatballs.
And you did that ahead of time. You tossed the vegetables in a little bit of olive oil, salt, and pepper.
Yeah, I did all of that in that big metal bowl.
And again, if you like a little spice, he could have added in a little Italian seasoning. He could have done a little crushed red pepper if he wasn't using the Fresno.
Yeah, so you see how I'm kind of using it like it's a big, like a big restaurant type of griddle,
Yeah.
just keeping it all moving. See how it's breaking down? But I have to watch out because if with that lip, I lost a couple. I think we got to the point now. It was great. I added the mushrooms, so it was really maybe 5 to 10 minutes out there on the grill with it closed up. Everything cooked up really nicely.
Yeah.
And then I threw the mushrooms on because obviously they're a little more fragile, would be the right word.
Yeah.
Right? And I
I
didn't
wouldn't
want
call them fragile, but yes, you could call them fragile. I wouldn't.
But they'll cook up a lot faster. I sliced them reasonably thin.
I really like my mushrooms cooked to oblivion. So to me, I probably would have thrown them in early. And so pouring in all the vegetables on top of each other would have given a little bit of moisture to the mushrooms. But if you like your mushrooms crispy, you really could have done them first.
Yeah, that's true.
You could have thrown them on first and really given them maybe a little bit of a brown of a crisp to them, which would have sealed them a little bit, and then thrown your other veggies in.
Yeah, I like I didn't want to create a big sauce, and obviously with the grill
Yeah.
grates having a little holes, they would kind of drop in there.
Yeah.
But I really wanted everything to get a good coverage, right, and get a lot of smoky flavor.
So, yeah, so I like mine a little bit softer. So again, that's great how you do it, you know, but that little bit of olive oil, remember if you add salt, it will pull out some of the water, so you
Yeah.
will get a little bit of juiciness from that, especially if you put it on your mushrooms.
And don't forget, if you don't have a Traeger or you don't have something to do it outdoors, you can do this in a pan.
Oh yeah.
You can do it on your stovetop just as easily, but you see
Yeah.
how you get a lot of great vegetables, a lot of great flavors. And in fact, Claire made lasagnas yesterday, and we threw some of these peppers into that lasagna.
Oh,
It was
yeah.
excellent.
Yeah.
Added a nice layer of spice. I was surprised
Good
with
for
the
quesadillas,
spice.
too.
Yeah, put it in with the meatballs were really good, and then
Right.
adding the peppers inside of that quesadilla. We found some really nice cheddar goat cheese that we put on the one quesadilla. That came
Yeah,
out
it's the
really
white cheddar.
nice. Very tasty.
Really, really good for those who have a tougher time with cow's milk cheese. But again, you know, just realize that you have so many possibilities with this food. Don't think that it's just a meatball. That's the only thing I can do with it. And same thing with the peppers. That's the only thing that I can do with it. There's so many options. And just make what you like. If you don't like mushrooms, don't cook mushrooms.
Yeah, and if you're eating halal, you don't have to use the pork. You could add
Right.
chicken,
Turkey.
turkey sausage with the bison would be very good too.
Turkey bacon's real bacon.
Turkey bacon, real bacon.
It's really not real bacon. It's a little joke we have between us. So anyway, so here he goes. He has the meatballs. Again, he put them in the oven, but don't make twice as much work for yourself. Just choose one path and go with it. And yeah, have fun with it. And these would actually be great for school lunches too.
Yeah,
A
they'd be
meatball, I
really
mean, if
good.
they don't mind eating with their hands, they could eat with their hands. You could cut it up in a couple pieces. That would be really good. Almost like a, what do you call it? The platter of food. The,
Like a charcuterie tray.
a little charcuterie. You could send it with a little bit of cheese, a little bit of chunk cheese, a little bit of meatball.
Yeah,
That'd be good.
really easy way. Couple of small little fork. You can have
Yeah.
a really easy snack that nobody has to heat up, which is great for a school lunch or.
So clearly Mario's enjoying it in the video. He is
Yeah.
eating it. He's telling you how great it is because they really are very, very good. And again, with what Mario made, it doesn't make a million of them. But if you made a lot, you can just go ahead and freeze them,
Yeah.
right?
Set
Get
them
a vacuum
aside, freeze
sealer.
them. Vacuum seal them's a great way to do it. A great way to prepare it. But it's easily, 2 or 3 lunches And again, like Claire was saying, mix and match, do it in different ways. Quesadillas, lasagnas, just by themselves with the peppers. Really awesome way to cook.
Right.
So check it out, try it out, and we'll see you next time on Cooking with Mario and Claire. Bye.
Bye.